Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madeline coming back to you once again. This time we're going to Music Times, and this is in the Celebrities column. This is about R. Kelly's appeal in Shambles. Court confirms guilt and questions herpes damages. I will list the article right in all of the details in the description, as I always do. R. Kelly's efforts to overturn his S-Traff and racketeering convictions hit a dead end Monday as a federal appeals court upheld the jury's verdict in its entirety, except for one aspect related to the restitution for herpes medication. As per All Hip Hop, Kelly was convicted on 9 counts, including racketeering and numerous Mann Act violations. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Kelly's conviction. The court found that prosecutors had presented sufficient evidence showing Kelly used his celebrity status to manipulate and exploit underage girls and young women over more than 2 decades. Kelly's legal team had argued that the evidence was insufficient, jurors were biased, and his trial attorney failed him during jury selection. However, the 3-judge panel rejected all claims, saying there was no credible evidence that jurors committed misconduct or that he received ineffective counsel. Herpes cost. It further approved seizing a portion of Kelly's money in Kelly's prison commissary account, and also the orders for restitution that the trial had set up. However, Judge Richard Sullivan raised concerns about the restitution amount awarded to the victim, referred to as Jane, who contracted herpes from Kelly. Jane's restitution was based on the cost of brand name Valtex over Jane's lifetime, which the trial court had calculated as totaling $270,466.18 in dollars. Sullivan contended the court should have looked at a much less expensive generic valociclovir, which he noted has an average total cost of over a lifetime of $9,829.02. Sullivan warned that the higher restitution could result in a windfall if Jane opted for a cheaper medication. He recommended that the district court either justifies using the brand name price and adjust the amount. The original trial included harrowing testimonies from multiple victims detailing abuse and control exerted by Kelly and his entourage. Prosecutors said that Kelly's team helped him recruit and groom victims, often at public events. Despite the appeal setback, Kelly remains incarcerated following his 2021 conviction in New York, which sentenced him to 30 years in prison. The recent ruling leaves his convictions intact, while the restitution amount for Jane may be reviewed. And that is the end of the article. Wow. I mean, I haven't done an R. Kelly video in so long. Like, I am well overdue. But this is the latest that I was able to find, or shall I say I stumbled across. Mr. Kelly. Last time I did a video, it was saying that allegedly, he had herpes, and he had given it to someone. Now I'm assuming that it has been confirmed by a jury of his peers. So here we are. The mere fact that this man had let me start off like this. The fact that he had a number of people, a great number of people that surrounded him that were complicit in his actions and did not speak out sooner. 2 decades is a long time to, be doing some stuff. 2 decades is a long time to accumulate a number of things, you know, but 2 decades to accumulate uh, a couple of thousand, couple of hundred victims, uh, and what seems to have been a well organized operation that was going on. You know, just victimized. I can't fathom the fact that people worked for him and lied for him and did what he wanted them to do, and they have children and they go home and they sleep soundly at night. I can't fathom the fact that despite it not being talked about a lot, it has been talked about, but not as much as it should have been, of these parents that willingly gave over their children to, knowing what was going on, knowing what was happening, knowing, hearing rumors at the very least, to still entrust, any adolescent, in the company of Kelly was did wrong. And I don't understand how these people sleep at night. The whole thing from start to finish has been, just a disgusting display of just how people in general will, the acts that they commit, the things that they have in their head, instead of, seeking help. And some of them do seek help, but is it really help if it's not helping? Is the question. Like I stated earlier, the willingness of all of these people, because of his power, his fame, and his prestige, and his connections, to facilitate anything like this is just crazy to me. It's not unimaginable because, the reality is that things like this happen every day, and it continues to happen every day. I think the shock value of it is simply because of who he is, his accomplishments, what he brought to R&B, what he brought to the music industry. His music will go down in history. But, as I've stated in several other videos that I've made about R. Kelly, people cannot separate the music from the actual person. People that you aspire and look up to and admire are often the people that will ultimately let you down. And as recent times have shown you, you can have one of the most despicable people in, music, politics, and they still hold a position of power. And there will always be people willing to pal around with them, be associated with them, be an entourage of them, be a cabinet member of theirs, and still knowing that it's fully wrong, and the likelihood of people to get hurt in the process of whatever they do, they still continue to be complicit. But I don't know, you guys. Let me know what you think. Drop down in the comment section. I would definitely love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And always remember, be good to yourself first.